I wanted to ask you about Iran again. I know you talked quite a bit about it today. Do you support some kind of airstrike against Iran, or what is the extent of support you're willing to?
I laid out.
I laid out supporting the groups that we're trying to overturn.
Well, I listed four things that many more things I would do, but I talked about sanctions. I talked about supporting groups to overthrow the government. I talked about covert activity, including computer viruses, and sending out a very clear signal to nuclear scientists who work on that program that they are enemy combatants, similar to the Taliban and Al-Qaeda.
Okay, so your policy is to assassinate members of the Iranian government.
No, I said nuclear scientists who work on this program, particularly foreign. If they come from foreign countries into that, they will be seen as enemy combatants. They will be people who are threats to the United States, just like your garden variety terrorists. And then finally, I would be working with Israel and saying that, and being very clear with Iran that we are preparing a military strike, an airstrike on those facilities to take them out. And if they do not immediately make those sites available for us to inspect, and they do not begin dismantling what they have taken on, then we will take them out.
What do you think the prospects are for peace or some kind of resolution with Iran that would end short of some kind of military confrontation?
Well, I think the options are overthrowing the government, look, I would like to think that Iran will change its stripes and faced with a serious threat will dismantle their activity. I believe that is close to a 0% chance.
Would you like to see a nuclear-free Middle East?
Well, no, I think Israel having a nuclear weapon is a good thing, even though Israel has never said they have one. It is widely believed they do have one.
Okay. Because I think that's part of the problem why these other Arab regimes want to have a nuclear weapon.
No, it's not. It's not. No one believes Israel is going to attack any Arab country. I mean, it would be suicide to do so. And they're a little country. They have a nuclear weapon for defensive purposes only, and everybody in the region knows it. That's not why Iran is developing a nuclear weapon. It's not for defensive purposes.
You talked about the theocracy in Iran. Do you think that they really aren't motivated by the prospect of martyrdom? Is that why you're afraid of Iran?
That's one of the reasons.
Because they're not as rational in the way that the Soviets were.
That's one of the reasons. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's absolutely one of the reasons. It's funny because people question that. Have you read the speeches from the mullahs and from Ahmadinejad and what they say they want to do and why they want to do it? Have you read them?
I have, and I heard that Ahmadinejad, talking about wiping Israel off the map. The people have gone back and actually read that in the original language. It actually means something closer to that Israel will collapse, and not that he has wiped off the map. Are you familiar with this?
I'm always familiar with reinterpretations, but it's not the only time that Ahmadinejad has said, they have Holocaust-denying conferences in Tehran which say that Israel has no right to exist. They say it all the time, that the Zionist threat will go. I mean, how specifically do you need it to be laid out? I mean, these are also the same people who are saying, no, they're not developing a nuclear weapon. How much do you believe them?
I want to ask you about Israel and settlements here quickly before. I know you have a lot of people who want to talk to you, I'm sure. Do you think that Israel should dismantle its settlements, or do you think it should protect the ones that it's built?
Why? The West Bank, is this part of Israel? Is the West Bank part of Israel?
According to the 48, Israel was.
Is Mexico part of the United States?
I don't think so.
It's not? Okay. Is New Mexico part of the United States?
I think it is.
Okay. Was it the original 13 colonies?
No.
No. How did we get Mexico and Texas?
Through war.
How did they get the West Bank?
Well, through annexation.
No, through a war. Right. So
it means for.
I don't know. Should we give Texas back to Mexico?
Well, I don't think that you should recognize recent annexation.
Oh, so it depends whether it's recent or not.
I think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter.
Effect on the local population.
Well, okay, so we should have given it back. We should have given Mexico and Texas back 150 years ago.
I don't think you have to give it back. I don't think it's not the government that you're committing the defense against when you're annexing territory. annexed.
We weren't annexing territory. That territory was conquered because of an aggressive attack on the part of Jordan and other countries on Israel, and they gained that ground. It wasn't annexed. It was ground that was gained during war. So are we saying the ground gained during war now has to be given back?
Well, I mean, the alternative seems to be absurd, though, doesn't it?
No, why?
The alternative is that you can acquire land through war.
Well, but were they the ones the aggressor in the war?
In the '68 war?
In the war in which they gained the ground on the West Bank, were they the aggressor?
I don't know that.
No, they were not. They were not. They were attacked, and they responded. So, go back to the question. Should every country that gained whatever territory through a war have to give it back? If that's the case, we would completely redraw all the maps of the world, depending on how far you want to go back. The bottom line is that is legitimately Israeli country, and they have a right to do within their country, just like we have a right to do within our country. If they want to negotiate with Israelis, and all the people that live in the West Bank are Israelis. They're not Palestinians. There is no Palestinian. This is Israeli land, and therefore they have a right to negotiate what they believe is in the best interest of their country, and they have the right to build things based upon their ownership of that land.
That's true enough, but also they have live under a different legal regime. They're aware of that. They cannot use the same roads. They cannot have to go through checkpoints that Israeli citizens do not.
Right, because.
So do you think they should have the same rights as the people of Israel?
I think that the people of Israel have passed laws based upon the conduct of the people there that are to protect other Israeli citizens from terrorist attacks, and that's a unfortunate situation. I wish it wasn't occurring, but it's one that was brought on by the people and their activities that they've conducted. Okay?
You have to go?
Yeah, thanks.